Yo, yo, how's it going, people? Hope you're having a good week so far. Before we get on to the podcast, if you are a Spotify user, in the search bar, head over and click and type in Will Clarke record box and then follow that button. And then you'll get a playlist that I update every week of new music from all my favorite producers. That'd be amazing if you could go follow it. I love you forever. Anyway, moving on to the podcast. This week is a good one. I know I say it every week, but this is a good one. Promise you. Dread MC, old friend from Bristol. He is an MC. He has worked on tour with a lot of people. CLIPZ, Red Light, Skream. And if you've recently seen him, you've probably seen him performing alongside My Nu Leng. He's one of the nicest guys I know, and I just always have a really good conversation with him. So, without further ado, Dread MC. Dread MC, what's happening, mate?
Bang. You good?
Yeah, good, mate. I haven't spoken to you for ages.
I know, Matt. But when we do catch up, we're always having a long chat. Like, we're always chatting for ages anyway.
How's that? First of all, I know we literally just spoke, but I think it's the elephant in the room. You lockdown, you're having another baby, man. Congrats. Was it planned?
Was it? Do you really think I planned that? Do you really? Oh, come on, man. Like, nah, it definitely wasn't planned. What we did plan is a cocktail night, but because me and my partner are lightweights, yeah, we didn't get to finish the cocktails from the first night, and it led on to a second night of cocktail drinking, and yeah.
Oh, this is when I can just imagine my mum in the corner just being like, "Contraception, William." Classic. But yeah, that's amazing, dude. Family of
Honestly,
five.
We're really, really happy.
Yeah.
Like, my girl's really happy. She's a midwife, so she's seeing babies all the time.
Yeah, man.
Like,
yeah.
And to be honest, like I'm a family guy anyway.
Yeah.
And I find it hard because it's frigging hard being a parent. It is so hard. It's like the hardest thing I've done. But at the same time, I love it. Like, I do love it, but it is stressful.
I love that. Because obviously you were doing music before having a kid. Like, how much did it change your life, like going into childhood, or like how did it change the career? Because we've all got friends, right? Like, I've got some of my best friends of kids. Like, it completely changes your life. Don't care what anyone says, it completely changes your life. But in the music way, how did it, in your career, how did it refocus you? Did it what did it do?
Yeah, so for me, you're like me in a way. Like, music is the main focus. So we like partying, we like socializing, but we don't drink or get on drugs or get on it. So that, like when people might have to come down the next day, or they could say, I've never had that. I've always got something to do the next day, or I like visiting friends, I like visiting family. So what it made me do is focus a lot. So I was only going out for an actual purpose. Like, I love partying. I used to have to sneak out of the house loads of times to go to the studio or go to a party.
Yeah.
But my missus would wake up sometimes at like 5, 6 in the morning. She wasn't even angry. She'd just be like, "Where are you?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I'm at an after party with such and such." Like, and like, she wouldn't really mind because she knows I'm just there for music, or I'm at a club for actual music, because I am addicted. I'm addicted to music.
Yeah.
So it made me focus. So instead of like wasting any sort of time or just being out for the sake of being out, I wasn't anymore.
Yeah.
So anything I was doing had a purpose, or it had to lead to something. Like, I wouldn't just be going maybe to a studio session not to get any work done.
Yeah.
Like, there had to be a reason.
It's interesting that, isn't it? Because I've got a lot of people I say a few, like a handful of friends that have had kids in the music industry, and it's like almost made their career, they've become more efficient and they've actually become more successful, because it's almost like they don't they're not working for themselves, they're working for their kid. They're working for their kid to have a nice life and have a nice upbringing and kind of be in a situation where the family's comfortable and things like that. And I think that like I don't want kids, I'll be honest with you. I don't want kids at all.
Bro, I didn't want kids. I didn't want kids.
But you got 3 of them now, or we'll have 3.
I said that to like my girls before, but when I got with my wife, who's my wife now, Alice, like we went traveling together, we moved in together. Like when she said her body's calling for a child, and like, she's the only girl I was with, and I was like, maybe I would have a kid with you. But then she got pregnant so bloody quick. it just blew my mind. Anyway, so
mate, that was my cousin. I think this is wrong. I probably shouldn't be saying this on a podcast.
Say it.
But I'm saying it. He was like, mate, the first time my girlfriend let me finish in her, like, game over, kid on the way.
Bam.
Literally. Respect, man.
But I really love it because I'm a family guy anyway, but I felt like I didn't want kids, but I'm glad I waited till I got with somebody who I was actually in love with. We got on really well. Yeah. We was both really settled. She was and then she kind of worked for a career. She said she wanted to be a midwife. Yeah. And she was studying while she was pregnant and stuff like that. It was a bit of a roller coaster, but I've had such an amazing time. Yeah. And I try and have a nice balance. The main worry is like when I had to go touring, but I wasn't ever going touring for like long stints. I might have gone away for like maybe 3 weeks was the longest. Yeah. And she found that really hard and was struggling. But she said, since I've been in lockdown, it's been really nice that I've been around so much more to really help out, do the school run. We've both been cooking dinner together and stuff like that. We've had such a nice time quality wise. Yeah. It's made our love even stronger together. So.
Yeah, I think it's really nice to hear that because obviously with COVID, we hear so much negativity. But I actually think in situations like yourself, like even in situations like me, like I've been back home, I've been able to cook for my mum and dad every single night of the week since I've been back pretty much. And like, I haven't been home for this stint of time for 6 years, 7 years.
Yeah, I used to see you a couple of times. Obviously, I come to your spot a couple of times before, but when things started to like elevate for you, we spoke on the phone, but you was in America the whole time. Yeah. Like you was just on the road like loads, but you couldn't have been in that road if you had a family because that couldn't work. Really.
Exactly. And I think like what you said with COVID is it's kind of allowed families to like grow closer. And I think like I know family for me is really important, but like we've kind of always brushed across it, but like how important is family to you, like growing up and things like that? How important was having your family around?
Jeez, it's insane. I've got 2 sides of family. So I'll just be honest, like my dad's side of family, we're not as close, but we're really big and we've got a massive close connection. And my nan only died like 2 weeks ago. So the funeral's like in 2 weeks' time. And it's a big family. I've got a lot of siblings. Like,
yeah, I remember you saying, I was like, what? I couldn't get my head over it.
I've got a lot of siblings. But then on my mum's side, they're really close, really loving. But then my dad's side, like not my dad's side, but my actual dad and his uncles, they're gangsters basically. Yeah. But they taught me a lot. So I've learned some really valuable lessons from them and how to deal with situations, how to deal with people. So I've got that side, and then I got my other side of family, and it's made me stay really calm. I don't have any dramas with people, or I try and always reflect and not like kind of fly off the cuff in ways. And it's like really loving and really peaceful. So I kind of have like both balances, and I've learned a lot from both sides of family, which I really appreciate. But to me, family is so important. Yeah. Like I've got an uncle who doesn't like to socialize that much, but when he does like answer the phone to me or he answers the door, he says, I'm glad that you always make the effort with me, even though I don't want to see people most times. Like, he's just like honest like that. But I got a lot of circle of friends that I always make sure I ring people out of the blue all the time. Yeah. And I think to me, that's great for my mental health. Yeah. And I also think it's good for people I might ring. Because like, say if I ring a friend and I haven't spoke to for a while, even if they don't tell me about they're having dramas, I think they're just good to just talk to people. I think it's the best thing that you could actually do, rather than going on social media to rant or reach out to people.
I agree, man. I love your out of the blue phone calls, and it's nice. It's like I'm in the studio. Oh, Dread's calling, and it's like, and we have a 30-minute catch up, and it's really nice. And I think it's really important, if you know what I mean, to have that, especially in these times. But I think we live in this industry. I don't know about you, but we've all got core friends in the industry. And then we have friends outside of the industry, but also in the industry, we have people that associates, right? That we see every fucking weekend, but we don't really have a relationship with, apart from whilst we're at the club.
Or music,
yeah, because there's so many people in the industry that I've not even spoken to that I probably see at every festival, if you know what I mean, and things like that. And I think it's just the joys of just being on the road all the time. But it is so important to keep a close knit of friends in this industry, because everyone has gone through everything. And you might, like, one day you might be going through something and somebody call you up and they've been through it like 5 years ago. Yeah. And you can kind of talk that out, because I don't think anyone really else understands our industry. Like there's not
they
really
find it hard.
Yeah. And it's like when you, like, let's say for instance, you've done touring for 3 weeks on a row, right? You've not seen your family, like you're not sleeping, etc., etc. Like, if you call one of your mates up that doesn't tour, that's like looks at what you've done and been like, mate, I'm so tired. I've like been on an aeroplane. I've been to like 6 different countries. They're gonna turn around and be like, Dread, shut the fuck up.
Get a grip.
Yeah, sort yourself out.
Life.
Yeah.
I think some of my friends, when they hear about maybe like a fee that I get, and they think, oh, you just got that for an hour's work.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, it doesn't work like that. Like, everyone gets a little cut from it who I'm working with. And then also I've been planning stuff for the week. It takes me 3 hours to travel there. It's like, when you start breaking it down, it's nowhere near as much as like people think it is.
And
there's that. So I had that conversation years ago with like my close set of friends.
Yeah. Oh,
traveling. I love it.
Mate, hold up a bit.
Most of it, like,
say all that again.
America.
Say all that again. You broke up.
Oh, I said, well, the last time I went to America was in November last year. But I love traveling, but I make the most of it. So every day I was in the studio with different producers, like nearly every day in between the shows that we was doing.
Yeah.
And even one time we had to go from America to Canada. Then we had like 5-6 hours. I actually went in the studio, and that was with like Nostalgic, and we had a couple of hours session in there. But it was such a great session, because the track that we've done together has done really, really well for the both of us.
Nostalgic from oh my god, where's she from? Vancouver. She's great.
Yeah,
I love that girl.
Yeah,
she's amazing. Yeah.
And I'm so glad I pushed myself. But even that day, like, my partner, we had a bit of an argument on the phone, because she said, oh, I thought you was just working in the States, but she's seen that I'd gone to Universal Studios the day before. And I said, that was my only day off. Yeah. Like, literally. And that was the honest truth. That was my only day off, where we said, let's do something fun. So she said, I'm at home with the kids. You're just out the other side of the world, and you're going to Universal Studios and on the Harry Potter ride.
Yeah.
So I would have been sulking in the hotel room before I went to the show. And I was just like, I need to make sure it's worth me being here.
Yeah, yeah.
So then I messaged Nostalgic, and like, where her studio was, it was like a 5-10 minute taxi, or it was like a 30-40 minute walk.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I might as well walk and take in the sights and clear my head. I was already tired. And it was a great session that we had. And then I got back to the hotel, had a great meal with like My Nu Leng. And then we went and did a really, really wicked show in like Vancouver, like our first show there together. And that was great. Nostalgic came with her mate. And then early next morning, we had to fly to like San Diego or somewhere like that.
Yeah.
So it was like literally in and out. But I'm so glad I pushed myself to go to like even that session.
Yeah, I think it's really important to... It's sometimes when you don't want to do something is the time when you actually have to do it the most. That's what I find. And it's like that when you wake up and you don't want to go to the gym, that's the time when to go to the gym, because once you've done it, you'll feel so much better.
Have to force yourself.
You have to, man. And it's the same in this industry, in our industry, where like there's going to be shows that you're at the hotel room and you're like, I do not want to fucking go and play this show. And you can guarantee that once you've played the show, it's one of the best shows of your life. It's just always the way.
I'm not really like that, bro. I love shows much. Yeah.
Do you?
I'm buzzing. I don't think I
love that.
I'm a really pusher. So say like, I sometimes get upset if I don't force myself to go to the studio. So before I used to be coming to the studio at like 1 a.m. or like 5 a.m, get back at like 8:30 to then do the school run. I've got a better like time structure now, but I get so excited for every show I do.
I love that. Do you think that's because you're like, obviously you're MCing, so you're literally the man between the crowd and you're the connect. And I think, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love DJing and I love playing shows. I'd be lying if I said every show I'd be hyped about, because I'm not, if you know what I mean. That's just my mentality. I always love it when I'm doing it, but it's that lead up to it, if you know what I mean. Like, spent all day traveling, etc., etc. But it's really interesting that you always are super excited about a show. I've never met anyone that's like that.
To be honest, I think I'm being really, really genuine. Even when I'm tired, I might be sleeping in the car and I'm knackered. As soon as I'm like backstage, I'm just dying to go on.
It,
like I'm dying to go on. Like I'm itching. Like sometimes when I go into festivals and it's like a 5-hour wait, I like to go and check out other sets, but just hanging out, I'm getting agitated because I'm like, so even when I've done shows and I know they're not even busy shows in the early days and stuff like that, I'd still be like giving 100%.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. Do you also think that's because you've like, anybody that doesn't know you, right? You do MCing, so you're working with a DJ, right?
Yeah.
So you worked like CLIPZ back in the day.
Yeah.
Started with CLIPZ. And now you're with the Nu Leng boys, and obviously you do all the productions. You do a lot of production stuff yourself. But when you're performing, do you think that's because you're also with another DJ and you can kind of like vibe off each other, and you've also got the crowd? Is it something that it's like, it's not, because for me when I tour, it's literally just me, unless
you're on your own.
I'm like on my Jax Jones until I'm like in California where my manager will come, or I have like cameraman Oscar or cameraman Juan.
But it's still just you on the stage though, isn't it?
Yeah. Which I love.
Yeah.
But
that's
I'm just
cool.
trying to.
I think as an MC, because I know the music as well, because like I might be in the studio when they're making certain beats.
Yeah.
And like someone like Red Light will play like majority of his tunes, and I'm a fan of his work anyway. So say like I do an odd show for Stanton Warriors, so I might even hit them up a couple of days before saying, what are you going to play, or show me stuff they're going to play. Then they say, oh, we're going to play this tune of yours and we'll mix it in with this one. We might just run through tunes quickly.
Yeah.
And I know some of their stuff from their album and that, but we just kind of have that natural connection. So then you're just vibing off each other as well as the crowd. And obviously my job is to interact with the crowd.
Yeah.
And I'm not a constant MC, blah, blah.
No, that's why I like
I'm
you.
trying to host. I'm trying to have a balance because I'm a raver. So I'm trying to have the experience. If I was raving and watching the set, how much would I want? And how much interaction would I want? That's how I process everything. That's how I make tunes though. I kind of have that vision of, what is this tune going to motivate you if you're in the gym? Is this tune going to actually make you skank out? Like get your hands up at this point. Like I'm like that on my music even.
That's why I like watching you perform. And that's why I kind of like what you do, because it's not, this sounds weird, but it's not all about you. Whereas I think in certain situations with an MC, especially in like the drum and bass like raves, it's just an MC kind of spitting lyrics of
in some aspects it is.
Yeah.
I spoke to a grime MC, took him to the side, and I said, he wanted to come on, and I said, as soon as you got the mic, what you did, you went right in the middle of the stage and blocked out the DJ, and you just spat 64 bars.
Yeah.
And I said, you should have just pasted it out, and I said, waited for the right tune for you to then spray. But I said, you kind of got a relationship, so you can't be all you. There is that thing about having a balance.
Well, I think it's about a team, right? And I think with I've not seen you. Well, I've seen Instagram clips with you and CLIPZ, but I've seen you and Leng live. And it feels like you all are giving each other the equal amount of space to do your craft. And it's not about them and it's not about you. It's just about you guys making the best possible environment for the people that are coming to watch you.
We're trying to always create an experience.
Yeah.
And we like to play like we always like to try and say we're trying to play the best music that we can actually find.
Yeah.
And try and keep it up to date and futuristic and maybe drop in a couple of classics. But I really feel like we've got such a nice relationship. Like, even without knowing, I know some tunes they're going to play, even if it's the first time we might play them.
Yeah.
And I've got such a sharp ear for mixes. I can hear like certain tunes, like if I know them, like instant as they're lining them up, really like subtly. So I'm like always prepared. But I never have a drink before a set and stuff like that. It's always afterwards. I try and make sure I'm always on point, if that makes sense. Like,
have to be, man. Because at the end of the day, if you do one thing wrong, everyone's going to see it. Because you're at the front.
And they will see it.
Yeah. And
all that goes through my head is like, don't fuck up. Don't fuck up. That's all I say. And don't drop. Don't drop. Like, you can't drop on stage. Like, you can't trip up on stage. That's like, oh my days. So that's all. Before I get on stage, I'm always like, don't say any dumb shit. Don't fuck up. Yeah.
Have you ever said like the wrong city?
Bruv, Reading in Leeds, the biggest festival, yeah? I said, but I started out so well. Like, I remember Rage said, how you did that was bossy, yeah? So we did Reading the first day, and then the next day we was in Leeds.
Yeah.
And I said, Reading is where we was yesterday, and I want to see Leeds make the most of it. Like, it was so smooth.
That's so good. I love it when bands do that, and you're just like, oh wait, they don't even know where they're at.
Yeah, I said, do you know what? I felt like it was probably a bit of adrenaline rush on no sets, but not really. Like, I'm always just, I kind of play things over in my head quickly before I might say certain things. But before all of that, I used to actually put the mic down so I wouldn't be tempted to just say something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that sometimes little is more effective.
Yeah.
And
that's the same on tunes even. That's
100%.
we talked about that on tunes, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think it's very easy to add, and realistically you should be subtracting. And I think
taking that. Like, I speak to a lot of producers I work with, because I work non-stop.
Yeah.
Only recently now I've been turning down a lot of work. I've been like saying like no, because I think I'm gonna eventually do like my own project and my own EP ready for next year. But I've got a lot of music lined up. Some really good labels that I haven't worked with as well. Some new artists that I haven't worked with. So I'm really excited about that. But I feel like you kind of have to have that quality on the tracks.
Yeah, totally.
And I speak to loads of producers saying that, like, actually, no, take that vocal out, maybe bring that in. It's like there's too much going on.
Yeah.
It will have a bigger impact if you just maybe have less. And I do like to layer vocals, but sometimes they're not needed. If the processing or the effect on it is really done well, like it's not needed.
No, I agree. It's something that I kind of look at in my productions. I will write a record and then I'll literally sit back and be like, if I don't love something, if I don't think it really fits, I just take it out. It's just, it just goes pretty much. But I want to talk about how you kind of started, because we've never really spoken. I've only known you really from the My Nu Leng days.
Yeah.
I didn't know you before then.
Yeah, because I thought you was from the States when I met you. Do you
Exactly.
remember?
Yeah. A lot of people still
Everyone
do.
did. Yeah.
They still do, man, and it's a battle. No one realizes that I'm actually from Somerset and Bristol. But I guess it's my fault, because I was never part of the Bristol clique. I was never part of the Bristol crew. I kind of kept myself away from that, and I think to establish yourself as a part of a city, you have to be in that clique. Where obviously you did yourself from 2 different projects, right?
Yeah, lots of but I'm just a raver. Honestly, I would just even there's loads of routes that I kind of came up. So I was not the best MC in my clique of MCs.
Yeah.
Like I was just kind of just with a whole load of group of friends. There's one of my closest friends, R.I.P. Brownie. He used to have he was the first one with kind of decks, and he's a bit older than me, a couple of years older. So when I'm like 15, 16, every Friday after school, we just go around to his house. His dad had a sound system and all the speakers, so he had the decks. We just ran a drum and bass set every Friday, and I would just say my little bits. But I remember when I got my first reload, like in the bedroom, it's such a big thing. They're like, "What?" It's such a buzz. It's such a buzz when your peers around you. So I remember that was just like, wow, the adrenaline from that is just amazing. And then I didn't even kind of take it seriously, but other people noticed me. So somebody wanted to book me for a party, and they said no. I was telling them which MCs to book. I said, oh no, don't book me. Like, you should get such and such. Yeah. And they was like, nah, we heard you on the CD and we like you and we want to book you. And the same guy, he runs Cygnus Music, who I work for.
Oh, okay.
Freelance. So yeah, so it's the boss from there. So he would have been maybe like 19, 20 at the time.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, he's older. And they put me on the flight, and I weren't going to turn up. They come to my mum's house and pick me up. And I think it was the best thing that ever happened to me in that way. And it was a Thursday night in like 100 capacity venue.
Where was that, in Gloucester or Bristol?
Yeah, in Gloucester. Yeah. In Gloucester. And then
what was the venue called?
It was called Monk's Bar. So it was underneath like a cellar.
It's in that little. It's almost like Timbuktu, right?
Cool. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I've played there before. I played there years ago.
Yeah, it's like opposite McDonald's. Like it's been closed for years, but it was a really the acoustic of it sounded amazing. Because once you got a stack in there, it's bouncing off the walls and it's firing.
Yeah.
It was firing.
It's so strange how drum and bass was so big in the Southwest.
Massive.
Like,
yeah, but I think it was big up north though as well. Though.
I don't think it was as big as it is.
I felt like in Manchester's got such a serious drum and bass
scene.
Has
it? I didn't know that. I really didn't know that.
And Brom, the Midlands got a serious drum and bass scene.
Brom, Birmingham, all of that area has massive, don't they? I guess the thing is for me, like, drum and bass was never. I was always the techno kid and the house kid, and everyone was always trying to get me to listen and play drum and bass, and I was trying to get them to listen to house and techno. And it probably took me. I had to get out of college to appreciate it. Because Sybin, do you know Sybin?
No.
Drum and bass producer. He was my college tutor, and like everyone would just literally play drum and bass and make drum and bass. And I'm like, I can't deal with this. Like, when something's just around you so much, it takes you a few years to appreciate it. But Bristol, especially Bristol, drum and bass scene is huge, or it was back then. I don't know what it is now. I'm kind of off the ball a little bit, but
yeah. So I had the opportunity to I got a booking with DJ Hype, and DJ CLIPZ was the ever headliner underneath him.
Yeah.
And I said to the promoter, "Oh, can I work with CLIPZ?"
Yeah.
And they said, "Are you sure?" He said, "Like Hype's headlining." And I said, "Nah." I said, "I heard a tune with CLIPZ called Monorail, him and Die, and I loved." And I wrote a lyric. At the time, I was at my friend's house when he just bought that tune.
Yeah.
So he's running a set, and I wrote a lyric, and it's about Gloucester, like flow, floss, where we're from. That's like Gloss, rude boy, I'm a boss. And I knew all my boys would just hype off it. I just knew as soon as I say that lyric, all my like friends around me would just be hyping up it. And I said, he's going to play that tune because it's his new release.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember that show. We did that show. And then he said he's seen my name a couple of times. And then coincidentally, I had a booking in Cardiff like 2 weeks later. And we was both on the bill together. So he said to me, come to Bristol and come and meet him in the studio. I didn't drive then, or I didn't have a car, but my best friend, Malachi Patterson, who I do loads of music projects with now, and I used to do like early production with, he just dropped me in Bristol, and I just had my backpack on me with a change of clothes, and I didn't know how I was getting home. But in my head, it's like, I need to get in the studio with this guy.
Yeah.
So if he's saying to come down, and then we made a couple of dubs that day. Like I made some dub plates for him that day, and he said like, "Oh, what you doing?" And he said he's going on the road, and he said, "Oh, if you want, I can just come," because he's going to like Brum, so he can come back towards Gloucester and just drop me off. And me and him just became friends like fairly quickly.
Yeah.
And he was the one who introduced me to like Pinch, who got me into dubstep, and then things just started to catapult for me on that way. So then I met Skream from early. Then I was like touring with Skream.
I didn't know you toured with Skream.
Yeah, I did a couple of like real big shows. Went to like Belgium with him, and there was like Casper there, and that's how I met Casper. So then I was working with Dub Police.
Yeah,
and that's when I went to America properly on a tour. Was with Casper, and we was away for 3 weeks that time.
Okay,
that's a long time. And then I had a choice. I was either going to go to Australia and America with Casper, or I was going to stay with Red Light because we had like some tour. He wouldn't tell me who the artists were that we was going to be touring with. And my girl said she'd rather me stayed in the UK because my daughter was like only about a year old or 2 years old. And I really wanted to work with Casper, but also I really wanted to work with Red Light, but I couldn't do both. And I made a good choice and stayed with Red Light. And yeah, we had an amazing, good few years on the road.
So were you touring as Red Light or as CLIPZ? Because if any listeners don't know,
so
CLIPZ
it was Red Light mainly. Yeah. So I knew him as CLIPZ, but at the same time, he was like making this ever music, like all the early stuff. And then one of his early tunes he made was like Feel So Good, which is me, Zanaya, and Red is on there. And I remember I was in my bedroom because he did the Annie Mac show on a Thursday night at Glastonbury.
Yeah.
And I was going to Glastonbury on the Friday and the Saturday and Sunday. And I remember I was listening to the set and like I helped do some of the dubs. Like he's doing a clip set and then morphing into Red Light to play a couple of the tunes. And he had like some early stuff from then. So me and him has been like close friends from then, really.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And got to do some crazy shows and got to go abroad and went to America, and I've had such an amazing time.
Yeah.
Like, because one of the tours we was on, it was like Rudimental, Disclosure, Annie Mac, and Red Light. And everybody just kind of blew up, really.
Yeah, they
ended up being superstars.
All massive, aren't they? It's amazing.
All massive.
And it's so nice to see when it's like a collective of people and everyone becomes successful. And if somebody doesn't become successful, everyone brings them up with them.
Because even on that tour, Ella Air was on a couple of the shows. Anne-Marie was on a couple of the shows. Oh, it's Magnetic Man.
Okay.
So Magnetic Man as well was on the tour as well. And that's, And
how good is Ella Air?
Yeah. And Emanike was there. John Newman was there.
Yeah.
For some of the shows. Mark Crane.
So it was the UK. Incredible. It was almost like the Black Butter UK crew. It was like before Black Butter got bought by Sony. There was
because I think that came afterwards, like the Black. I think kind of like the early days, yeah. Because like Black Butter kind of blew up just after that tour in a way.
Really?
In a way, like I feel so. That actually, because even Sam Smith was actually one of the he was at the Wembley show. There was so many people there.
That's crazy. Did you play at Wembley?
It was because it was the Culture Clash. So that was one of the tour days. So the Culture Clash.
Yeah.
And Diplo was on, and he brought out Rita Ora and Usher. Boy Better Know. Yeah, it was a mad thing, man.
Dude, good times, man. So how did you and the My Nu Leng boys kind of get together, and how did that work? Like, when was it like, okay, we are, because I would say you are, although you're Dread, it's like I'd say you're a massive part of the My Nu Leng kind of show.
Yeah, we're like really close friends now.
Yeah.
But they just had a party house in Bristol. So I didn't even really know him that well. I just knew about this house.
Really? I didn't know this.
Yeah. So I remember, say, like, I'd finish at Motion at 5.
Yeah.
And I remember just going to, like, their house. Troy Gunner used to live there.
Troy Gunner.
Well.
Damn, I haven't heard that name in a while.
My girl rang me one time when I was, like, at a house party, and I named a couple of people there. And she's like, who the fuck calls themselves Troy Gunner? I said, that's his real name. I said, that's a bad boy name.
It is.
I always thought it was a sick name, and when he said it's his actual real name, I was like, "Rah, that's like you're set." Like,
yeah, right.
You're set.
He's a dope producer. He lives in Berlin now, I think.
Yeah, he moved to Germany a while ago.
Yeah, I like that guy.
But they just had a party house in a way, and I think we was on a show together, and I said I'll give them a lift. And I remember they played after me and Red Light one time at Glastonbury, and they opened up with, like, the Fresh and Ting, their remix that they did. And that tune was incredible. And Master Plan, it was me that was telling Red Light, I said, we have to play this tune, Master Plan.
Yeah.
But we was a little bit late on it. It was already kind of like bubbling away. And then when we played it was getting good reactions. And when me and Red Light like kind of decided that we was going to like part ways.
Yeah.
He like said, oh, what are you going to do? I said, I know I could kind of get back to hosting on drum and bass and doing a couple of dubstep sets. But I said, I'm going to probably see if I can hook up with My Nu Leng, because I seen him with a couple of other people, and I thought my kind of style as hosting would sit really well with them.
Yeah.
And I remember, I don't think they mind me saying this, but I remember the agent was saying, oh, I don't think you need an MC.
Yeah.
So I kind of did a tester show, and I had such a good time with them. So, and I thought it'd work out well. And I was up for driving as well, so I said I could drive us to shows, like them too. And honestly, we just hit it off straight away.
That's dope.
It was literally like just straight away, and we're like best friends really now.
Yeah, you're everywhere with each other. I don't see them.
And I still speak to Red Light nearly every week.
Really?
Yeah.
It's amazing, man. I guess it's what we were saying right at the beginning. It's kind of like growing that family, and then that is part of your family. It's like the second part of your family. You have like the immediate family, and then you have your work family. We all have that, where there's people that we all they're just part of us, if you know what I mean. It's not part of our lives that will always just be there. And I think it's really important to have that. And I think it goes back to what we said in the beginning, is what you're in this like position, really amazing position, where you kind of breach that gap between a crowd and a DJ as a host, as an MC. And I think it's a really important thing. And I think there's certain genres you can't do that in, right? Just because it's frowned upon, if you know what I mean. But I think there's also like, and I say that like the uber cool techno lot, like they don't have that, if you know what I mean. And it's kind of like, I'd like to see it. I'd like to see what it would be like, and if something like that could ever happen, if you know what I mean. And what do you think it is about with like the genre of music that you guys do that allows you to be you?
I think it's almost, I don't really know if it's like much acceptance, but I feel for me, I work with so many different genres. So even with a couple of tech house tunes, I will vocal tunes, but my name's not on there. Like I've worked with loads of quite big names, and I've been doing a lot of like resampling where people couldn't get sample clearances for. I've been doing that like secretly and just getting like small lumps of money just to do that. But I feel like with like drum and bass and the bass house, there's not many egos really.
Yeah.
So you can kind of just really be yourself.
Yeah.
And it's just all right, really. But I don't know. And also, I just love music. So like all with the like, kind of tech house stuff and even like pop music, if it's made well, I'm into it.
Yeah, yeah. I think personally for me is that in drum and bass, in like the more bass kind of heavy music, and tell me if I'm wrong, because I could be massively wrong, but I think it's a younger crowd. And I think when you're a bit younger, you're open to more things, and you're open to just having a fucking good party. and I think egos are taken out of it, and it turns into something where we just all want to have fun all together. And then
I think there is that on the bass house stuff and like bass line. Yeah, there is that younger crowd, but with drum and bass, it's such a massive mix of ages, because you could work with like, you could have the kind of caliber sound and like the Fabio and Groove Rider, and there'd just be the older heads there, but you could still appreciate it if you're 18, 19. I feel like there's not really an age gap in that kind of scene and that music really. But maybe when you're younger, you kind of want it fast, and you want harder beats and stuff like that, and you're excited to just hear something loud and
just
it hits you straight away. You want that impact like straight away. So with the bass line and the bass house thing, but also you got the shuffling dancing, which I think is they listen to both sides of those music, and they can do their movements to all those genres really.
What's your thoughts on the shuffling thing?
I quite like it, yeah. Like I get tagged in like quite a few videos, and I appreciate if somebody is into my tunes or like my music, like so I appreciate that. But I can't do it on stage. I think it would look a bit mad. If I could do a backflip, I might do that on a stage. But to actually shuffle and break some moves like that, I don't know if I could do it, because I don't know if I want to see the videos back of me doing it afterwards.
It's really funny how it was huge in England, and then it's just completely stopped, and then America just
instantly stopped.
Yeah, and then America just took it. America did what America does best, is
everything just gets blown up 10 times.
Yeah, exactly. They take everything from somebody, a different culture or a different country, and then just turn it into something wildly successful.
Yeah, they make everything major.
Yeah,
like it's like a serious business model.
100%. Every like, there's so many like shufflers that make so much money.
Oh, they're making more money than me. Like yes. I got a quote for like, and I said, "Am I doing this wrong?" It's like my music, and like they would make more money off my tune than I would if I was to pay them for a video and stuff like that for influencers.
It's wild, isn't it? What's your thoughts on this whole influencer thing?
If people are making money however they can, I kind of have to respect that.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm like an influencer. I'm a creator, so I just want to create. But I'm always about being fair. I want everybody to have a fair cut of money. So
totally.
But like the other thing is like, so say if I've got an influencer telling me they want 6 or 10 grand for a video, and there's no, I was like, I can't even justify spending that type of money on a tune. Like we can't even negotiate. There's no even talk for negotiation major. So
I think with influencer marketing, with the likes of like the YouTubers that have millions of followers, that they get paid like 40, 50, 60, 100 grand a video just to say they're being sponsored by whatever, if you know what I mean. Like buy this water bottle, and this water bottle company pays them a shitload of money.
And then I think it's unfair if they're using your music in the background.
Yeah.
And they're going to talk it, but you've made that music, but you're not getting anything from that.
Totally. Yeah.
So when they can start monetizing any of those Snapchat videos, TikTok videos, Instagram videos, or Reels, or people having your stuff in the background, and it's done fairly, then that'll be cool.
Yeah, because
great.
It's very strange, isn't it? Where you have, it's kind of that love-hate relationship. Well, not hate, but like sometimes you rely on influencers and people on organic reach on social media to make your record get big, right?
Yeah.
And then there's certain record, a lot of major record labels pay influencers, pay big Instagram companies to
but sometimes they don't work at all.
No, it doesn't. And I think this is the thing. It's like,
and I think it's such a waste.
Yeah, there comes a point, and I totally agree. We literally have this conversation every week with my label team. Like, there's like, what is worth? Like, you could spend 10 grand on a record, and it doesn't generate 10 grand's worth of income. And you're like,
if you work it out, there will be less than that. It don't even generate half that.
It won't. And then you're like, well, we're the ones that are getting fucked over. Because it's like everyone else is earning the money.
It's getting paid. Yeah, everyone else is getting paid, but you. And you're the one who's grafted hours and hours and days making the tune.
I wonder how it can change. I wonder how, like... But then again, like you go on YouTube, somebody uses your record, or go on, let's say TikTok, somebody uses your record and it turns into a massive hit. You do get those. It's one in a million.
I only feel like there's only a few.
One in a million.
I know people who's had those, but I still think it's only a small few. But you can imagine how many people are chasing that.
Yeah.
And paying that. I've got a friend who recently paid £700 for a Spotify unplugger.
Yeah.
So I know obviously a radio plugger, but I didn't know there were Spotify pluggers getting that much. And then I told him basically you've got nothing for your money.
Yeah.
Because the streams total was on the 10,000 stream. I said you should have got that by yourself.
Yeah.
Without you spending money. You could have got somebody to do a £25-50 little comedy sketch video.
Yeah.
And you post it up on Facebook and you try to get it on any sort of like little small dance channel. And a couple of bloggers. I said, to pay that type of money, you've got nothing from that. I said, I would be absolutely screwing. I said, £700 is like maybe small money but that's loads of money to other people. Like, I would not justify me spending that money unless it was like guaranteed results. And I would have to spend £700 and know that tune is going to make me 1,000.
Yeah. Definitely. That's business, isn't it? It's business. You spend this much money and you need to make double pretty much with what it is, because there's other costs involved. And it's really interesting. It's really strange because it doesn't just happen in music. It happens in all creative, right? Anything creative, like, and everyone that's creating shit wants to be successful, and they want more and more people to hear or to see or to watch. But there's these companies that are saying that we're going to give you, we're working for you, we're promoting you, we're going to get you this, we're going to get you that. But I think these companies should work on a results basis.
Yeah, because say if you do get results for a track, they can claim that and say, oh yeah, it's because of that. So there's no guarantee of anything really. Somebody can't like guarantee this is going to work for you or this is going to do like. And I'm always up for like getting people's opinions on stuff or working with people or collaborating with people. Like I'm definitely a genuine collaborator. So I work with some of the biggest names.
Yeah.
And I'll work with some new artists almost on their first release sometimes. And they can work with like one of the engineers that I work closely with is Alex Holmes. I think you've met. Yeah. And he's been great. The other one is like Wesley Park. I send people over to like Wesley Park to say, listen, get your tune mixed down by him.
Yeah.
Or you can send him the stems. And I said, and then he can like polish up your tunes and make it sick. Like Joker's been helping a lot with one project I've been working with, and he's like one of the best in the game.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Amazing guy. And one of the persons that I kind of came up with at the time is NYTA.
Okay.
He's been in music for years and years. Like me and him always talk and discuss about tunes. I think it's good to have like people that can give you like solid advice and good criticism that you can turn to for stuff like that. And then you have to justify anything you're going to spend money on or do, because you don't want to lose some people like credibility. Like you want to keep your integrity. So you don't want to be doing some silly, stupid video of like pouring champagne over your hair or splattering cake on your face to trying to get good engagement from it. Like,
not everyone's Fisher, right? And I don't mean that
he's an entertainer. But he's such an entertainer.
Yeah, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I love what he does. There was characters back in the like Eats Everything, Seth Troxler. They were in there when they got big. They were characters, and like everything about them was about their personas and who they were and kind of everything about them. But what they did is that they always followed it up with very good product.
Yeah.
And Fish is exactly the same. He's himself. Like you can get him on Instagram or off Instagram, and he's exactly the same person.
Yeah.
But he also follows up with a very good product. And I think that's the difference, is that you can try all these things. You can spend all this money on trying to get somewhere. But at the end of the day, you've got to have fucking good product. And whether that's a good record, whether that's good art, whether that's good something, it has to be fucking good. And I think if it is good, it will eventually do well. And if it's not good, it's not going to do well. It's simple. We've all released good records. We've all released shit records. Yeah. And
of course it is.
And I think that's the thing. There's nothing better than a good record, because somebody will always pick it up.
Even if it's a year or 2 years down the line.
And that's the amazing thing about streaming. That is the amazing thing, because that would never happen back in the day. It was very rarely a record would resurface, if you know what I mean. And
that's what happened with me. Like, my first tune signed to a major was like, I don't know if it's 2 years old, or it was definitely over a year old. So it was definitely over a year old, and it had already hit over 1 million before it got signed to a major, and it got a re-release.
Yeah.
And that was great.
Yeah, it's amazing. That is the great thing about streaming. One of the men, like, do you like streaming?
I don't see much money from it.
Yeah.
But I definitely use it as a way to promote my music, and it's a great way for people to come and approach me for collaborating, and for me then to work on bigger tunes, work with other artists.
Yeah.
For me, it's just like, it was just enough. My main money originally came from doing shows.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's completely crashed. So now I've been making sure I've been doing other things, music related, like I'm doing some talks and stuff like that.
Yeah. You've just released a sample pack with future music?
No, for Music Tech.
Music Tech.
Music Tech magazine. And even with that, obviously it's for a magazine, so I haven't gone all out.
Yeah.
But I've given a solid piece of work, and I've given like a really great introduction to, especially if nobody doesn't know me, it's a great introduction to see, like, oh, actually this guy can do, he's got such a varied range of styles and approach, and that's almost like kind of what it was made for.
Yeah.
I get approached so many, like, over the years, especially since lockdown, I've been approached by so many companies to do sample packs. But
yeah, it's wild.
I'm really, but to do an actual vocal sample, to have my stuff out there, I'm just like, it has to be a really good deal. So I've kind of got a deal on the moment, and I'm still even thinking about it now, because I could potentially make the money from doing a sample pack with having loads of my vocals out there.
Yeah.
I could kind of get that off me doing maybe like 10, 12 small tunes, or doing 1 or 2 big tunes.
Yeah.
So I don't want loads and loads. That's not my main concern. But apparently, one of the companies hit me up, said they've got this new loophole, so people can't then say, "Oh, I've done a tune with Dread," just because they've got used that sample pack. So.
See, I was in a meeting the other day, and this person did a remix for somebody, and they sent the remix in, and the original producers in the label were like, "Have you used any samples? Like, is there any samples in this?" And he was like, "Well, there's a Splice sample, but it's royalty free." And they were like, "You have to take it out." And he was like, "Why?" He was like, "Well, in Splice, although they say it's royalty free, not every sample is royalty free. So the original artist actually got sued by somebody because they used a sample and made a lot of money from it, and then got sued and had to take the sample out."
Yeah.
So, like, although
that's all right for the original guy who did the sample.
Exactly.
Like, somebody did that to me. Like, an album came out in America, really big artist, and I'm kind of cool with them, but I hit them up straight away, and I was just like, whoa, that's I know that's my line. So even though it was pitched and changed, I was just like, I just messaged them, but straight away I knew they was panicking, and people said I could have got a lot more money, but they paid me fairly nicely.
Yeah.
And I got points on the track as well. But they could have just contacted me anyway.
Yeah.
But I think but it's still cool. But I'm always about that. I'm not like, I'm actually right now, I'm actually going through something at the moment. Somebody's copied a tune, and it weren't even us that brought it up. Other people just kept pointing it out, saying this producer's blatantly copied a tune that I've done with like one of the closest producers I work with.
Yeah.
So we've just contacted them, and they're just trying to air the email. And I was just like, this is so unprofessional. So I kind of lost my shit yesterday and wrote like a serious email, because they've had like 5 days to kind of reply. And I'm just saying, the management from the other artist wrote a really professional email. Yeah. And I said, how could you, like, this is just ridiculous. Like, I'm not really articulate with my words or anything like that. I'm just really straight and honest.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, but originally the label that it released it straight away said they're happy to take down the tune, because they agreed, this is a blatant copy. And I said, I don't want to do that to another artist.
No.
Because I'm not really like that. And I said, we can either look at if I was a massive artist, like a top selling artist, there would be that infringement stuff. So I'd get all the
you'd
publishing.
You'd earn it. You'd
earn
the money
if I wanted to. But I didn't want to do that. We was either talking about doing some splits off the tune.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. But we was just up for having a discussion. But to ignore it was just so unprofessional. But I'm kind of having that at the moment. But this is just all good learning curves for me, I feel.
Yeah, massive. I think I've had it on quite a few occasions where people have just blatantly just sampled what I've made and then made a record out of it. For me, like, I've always, what's that word? I forgot what the saying is, but something is the greatest form of flattery. It's like,
oh, somebody mentioned, I know what you're saying. Yeah, somebody said that about this.
Oh, that's going to annoy me. Fuck, what is it? Anyway, everybody listening to this is like shouting at the podcast going, because they know what we mean. But I've always kind of just like, I've always just hit them up and been like, cool, nice one for using the sample. Like, I'm glad you like the original, like, keep it up. I had somebody the other day tag me in a record that I'd used a royalty-free sample in one of my records. It was in my You Take Me Higher records, and somebody had used that sample as well. But after I'd used it, and they knew that I used it, and the record was pretty successful, and I just commented, and I was like, dope sample, man. And he was like, damn, I don't want to piss you off. I was like, dude, you're not pissing me off at all. It's just royalty-free sample. Anyone can use it. Yeah. Like, anyone. Just go do it, man. Like, this is what art's about. But as long as no one's, like, in that situation, it's fucking royalty-free. It doesn't matter. Like, you can do what you want.
I say to a lot of people, let's just make original music. That's why I get in the studio with a lot of people. Like I said, because then no one else has got it. Nobody can argue with that. Yeah. Because you got something brand new, something original. So it's good if people pay me to come in the studio and do something original and brand new that no one else has got, and you know that you've got something unique and special.
Yeah.
And I feel like I think like over the years, like now I've worked with so many people and my tunes are on so many different genres, they kind of see that a bit more now. Yeah. But it is easy to work with a sample because some of the samples are just so good. They're already mixed down well. You don't have to do any work. But if you have to work with a raw vocal, you kind of have to put your work
into it. Yeah.
But I think that's good. That's like part of the magic.
Yeah. See, I like using samples. Like, don't get me wrong. Some of my biggest records are samples.
Yeah, of course it would be.
But like Hallelujah that I released not so long ago.
Well, that did great streams. That was incredible streams.
Yeah, it's like
Candy. See, that wasn't even that long ago. It feels like. Was that like at the start of before lockdown kicked in?
That was at the start of lockdown, literally the second week in lockdown, and that's a Candy Staten record, and I've learned a lot from that because there's been a lot of politics about that record, and it's been a fucking nightmare. But if you deal with it the right way and you deal with it in the most respectful way and everyone gets paid that's supposed to get paid, sweet, if you know what I mean. And it's, to be fair, I've learned so much from that record, and I got to be in touch with Candy Staten and her family and like learned so much just about how to deal with people, and how you've got industry people and then you've got the artist in the industry that are just always kind of hid behind, or purposely hid behind, the business side of the people, because the business side of the people just want to make money, whereas the creative side of the people of the industry, the artists, a lot of them just want to make fucking great music. And I think that's the difference. Is there's for me as advice, if you're an artist and using a sample, just go directly to the original artist, just because most people are going to be cool about it. And if they're not cool about it, then don't do it.
Yeah, because I've got an artist I've worked with, like they're really big producers, like they're killing it stream wise as well. But they've got 2 samples in there, but they're still gonna go with it. But one sample, they're taking 50%, the other taking 50%, so they won't make any money from it. But they think the tune's gonna do well and capital. But I was thinking, but why don't you just get something original that's kind of similar to it then, and then it's you. But they like the sample that much. But if you got a good sample, you got a good sample, and once you already like love something, you don't want to take it out, because then it will just never be the same again, is it?
Never the same, man.
I said to people, don't go down that road in the first place. Like once you go down that route, it's harder to then come out of it.
I agree. I've been working more in the studio with like singers and songwriters recently, or since lockdown, and it's so much more like, you're not spending all day searching for that sample. You're spending all day with 2-3 other people, vibing, building relationships, and creating something new, which people have never heard before. And I think that's what I think samples, house music is. Well, all electronic music is samples, right? It started from sampling disco. Disco started sampling from old African drums and rock and roll and stuff like that, and that's kind of how this industry is. But I think now there's so many creative people. We have the internet, we have mobile phones, we can all just be like, one of my favorite songs is from that I've written is a girl called Nikki Wright from Seattle, and she recorded the vocal on her phone, and I processed it and put it into the track, and it sounds fucking amazing. Like,
yeah, but then that's down to you. That's because of your engineering skills, though, isn't it?
Also down to her voice, man. And I think this is the thing, is that like we live in this time when there's so many talented people, and we're the world is so small now. Yeah. Like you can speak to anyone. You can speak to somebody in Australia, and you can write a record with them. If you know what I mean. You don't have to be in the same room with them. I love being in the same room with people. I love that vibe of being in the same room. But we're lucky that we have that. So realistically, we don't have to go and search for those samples. We can go and search for so many different creative people that can give you better samples.
Yeah.
Better songs.
You know, I just thought about, I don't even mind. I reckon in 20 years' time, people's going to be sampling me from those old tunes, and then I'll be
They will, man.
So I would just hope, like, because obviously, like, even the whole hip hop thing's built on samples. Yeah, so it is important. It's part of the music vibe anyway. But it's getting a balance. But I think if you're a producer, you should be able to do both.
Yeah,
and be comfortable to do both, because that will just separate you, and also it's just giving you more of a challenge as well, isn't it?
Yeah. The other day, it's funny. One of my, I won't say his name because I haven't confronted him about it yet. But if he listens to this, he's gonna know exactly who it is. So, and anyway, but he, in one of his records, I have this drum machine like right beside me, the black thing there, and it makes a very unique shaker sound that I put in pretty much every single one of my records. We've done a collab together, and I put my drums in it, and he's used that shaker for one of his other records, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to call you out on it because I know you've done it, and I don't know if you've done it on purpose or you just found it and you're like, yeah, I love it, but
I like that.
But I'm just like, mate, I can hear it from a mile away, and I'm like,
is that like your signature kind of vibe?
Yeah, and I'm like, bruv, like, do I say something to him, or do I just like leave it? I don't know.
Say something, say.
Text him in a bit. Oh.
Before it goes out live and he hears it back.
It's out already and like, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I feel so bad. I can't.
I'm always straight with people. I like ringing at people and having conversations and stories like that is what I do like hearing about as well.
I'm very straight with people. Like, I'm very honest, but
yeah,
I don't really like confrontation. Not really a confrontation person, unless I have to be. If that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. Like, I feel like, but you'd always give like constructive criticism if it's needed.
Yeah, man, we're all strange human beings, right?
Well, I think most producers are strange anyway. There's not many producers that are actually quite normal, to be honest.
Have to be. Just sit in a room. Like, it was funny at the beginning of lockdown. And it's like the whole world complaining about being stuck in one room for hours and hours. It's like, what are you fucking moaning about? This is what we do every fucking week. It's just wild. So coming up, I remember talking to you like a couple of months ago and you were releasing shitloads of music.
Bang.
Yeah. What have you got coming up?
So if I'm just honest, like this, it's always like September, October, there's been like a lot of death around this month. And even the last couple of weeks, I lost my cousin and a nan in the same day.
Sorry, dude.
So it's just like, that's been pretty mad. Like my granddad dies around this time. One of my best friend died 2 years ago. So we kind of had an anniversary kind of link up with our friends for him. It's just a crazy month always. Yeah. So I was having a bit of a break for releases. But I had to I'm on somebody's album that comes out tonight. So there's a guy from Bristol, a rapper from Bristol, J0117.
Okay.
His album comes out tonight. So I got a track on there with 091. So it's like a hip hop kind of grime kind of beat, and I do the hook on there. But I've got a couple of weeks off, and then in November I got a release every week.
Damn.
Different kind of like, they're different genres a little bit, but they're all kind of under kind of like the bass house and like bassline tunes. But I kind of plan stuff like that all the time.
Yeah.
So in what I did in July or August, I can't remember which month it is now, I did a drum and bass release. So I spoke to people like in February, March, saying, what genre do people want? And a lot of people said drum and bass, because I don't do that often.
Yeah.
So I did a drum and bass release like every week in July or August. I can't even remember now which month, but I did that. And then in December, I've got 2 releases. One of them's getting played on Kiss at the moment. It's like a little garage track with this guy called Joe Berger, and it's called Vibe. So that's getting like a little bit of radio play at the moment. So he's really happy about that. And then I've got a tune with a guy from Japan called Jack the Fishworks.
Jax. Love Jax.
I absolutely love working with him.
Yeah.
It's been amazing working with him. So we've got a release coming on Confessions, and we've got a release in December as well with a good label.
Nice. Can't say that.
And when I hit in January, I'm kind of on like a tech house label.
Okay.
So it's going to start the first week in Jan, and for me, if it goes ahead, I think it should be getting signed off. So they've agreed the date and got the artwork out. We're just waiting for the producer to sign it off. But I think it will kind of put me into another kind of genre.
Yeah.
But it's like a really respectable label, and it's with a big artist label.
Cool, man.
Running it, and I think that's going to be nice for me. And then I've got like some really cool tunes, which I feel like I know what I want to do for myself now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm actually just pretty mad excited. That's what I have got a dubstep tune in.
Who's that with?
In October. So it's me, Myro from the States, and Ryder Shafiq.
Okay.
And it's called Who Dem, and we're looking to shoot a music video for it as well. But that, just making that tune, just recording that day we was in hysterics, because literally was just like trying to outdo each other on the bars. Like, and I don't even do dubstep tunes often, so it was fun to do, like just really fun to do.
Where did you record it?
Have fun.
Where did you record it?
With what's the producer's name? It was in Bristol.
Okay.
Can't remember the producer. Oh, Jay Selector.
Okay. Yeah.
So he's a drum and bass producer. He's doing really well. So we recorded in his studio. So it was just good to have an engineer on that one to record the vocals with.
That's dope, man.
So and it was fun. It was just really fun. And I'm literally just trying to work as much, and I'm doing quite a lot of like resampling at the moment. Like some housey kind of stuff. What else? Oh,
mate, you're fucking doing loads.
Yeah,
like, come on.
I'm working with somebody who's working on computer games. So he's working on, and I've always wanted to kind of. That's like one of the tick boxes that I wanted to get on. Agree. So I kind of got that on, and then I think early next year I want to start working on my own stuff. Do you want to do an album? Maybe not an album, but if it happens to be an album, just the way I work, then that'll be great. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm happy to do it as an EP. Yeah. And I feel quite comfortable with knowing what I'm doing. Yeah, I've got a tune with Taiki New Light. I work with him quite a lot. We've done a good few tunes together. And if the tune works out how I'm expecting it to work out, I'm just excited. Yeah. But I'm excited just to work. It's amazing, even after this, I'm gonna be in the studio. I'm recording straight after this.
I'm gonna go to bed. I'm telling you that. I've been up since 5 a.m. and I've got 3 hours sleep, and I'm like, I cannot wait to sleep tonight. It's gonna be a good sleep. Yeah. But let's wrap this one up. It's been amazing to catch up, dude. And
bro, honestly, like
before,
I've got a lot of respect for you.
Likewise, man. Likewise.
And it's just great that me and you can just catch up every few months.
Yes, but we need to catch up. We need to actually go for dinner or something. So before this madness kind of ends, and we could actually, when we're back on the road, let's try and catch up for some dinner and kind of catch up and
man.
Maybe get in the studio, maybe write some beats.
Yeah, bruv. Just whenever you're ready, and like we've got a day that we're both free and about, then let's do it. That can work.
Before we end, how can anyone follow you? What's your socials and everything like that?
So all my socials are Dread MC. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Cool.
That's all Dread MC. And I have got an email called like tunes4dread@gmail.com, because I'm doing a radio show on Swoo. So I'm just doing a mixed genre of music, really. So anything really. I'm just playing a whole mix of underground dance music, bass music. So if anybody wants to send me stuff on that, they can do.
So Swoo's the Bristol radio station, right?
Yeah, literally kickstarting this month.
How's it going? How's it going? Because I remember when it launched.
The launch was great when it did it a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And I've been down to the new building, and it seems really nice, really professional.
Cool.
It's going to be one of the best things to happen in Bristol.
Yeah, I agree. I think it will really bring like a community back.
Actually, would you be up for doing a guest mix with My Nu Leng then?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's make that work. I said straight after this, let's just like kind of work it out and set it up.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
Even for the month after. Yeah,
I'm down, man. I'm down 100%.
Perfect.
Right, big love, dude. Keep safe.
Nothing but love, bro. Bless up, man.
Good luck with the new baby in a few months' time.
I forgot.
Right, love you, dude. Stay on. Don't hang up. Stay on. I'm just gonna end record. Right. Big love, man.
Right,
keep safe. Man. Yo, that was a wrap, and I loved it. It was amazing. I'm really tired, and it was just a really nice podcast to kind of have to end my day. So I hope you all really enjoyed it as well. Go follow Dread. He's an amazing guy, and puts out some badass music. Keep safe. Have a great week. If you enjoyed the show, please share it with all your mates. Thank you so much for all the support on these shows. It's absolutely amazing. I couldn't do it without you all. If you do want to give us a review, that would be absolutely amazing, and it just keeps the shows going. Big love.